Have you ever stood in the middle of a crowded street and felt utterly alone, as if the entire world is a movie playing just beyond your fingertips, and you're the only one who can't quite touch the screen? Deafen. Have you ever chased a dream so hard your lungs burned, only to watch it dissolve the moment you got close, like smoke slipping through clenched fists? Have you ever looked in the mirror at 3 a.m. and asked the reflection, is this it? Is this the life I was born for? And now pause, let the silence answer. Because right now, in this exact second, something ancient is stirring, not in a temple, not in a book, in you, beneath the noise of notifications, deadlines, and the distant thunder of what-ifs. A frequency older than language is rising. It has no name the modern world recognizes, but your body does. It feels it in the sudden hush behind your eyes, the way your heartbeat syncs with the rhythm you've never heard but somehow remember. This is not coincidence. This is recognition. For thousands of years, a single object has been passed through fire, flood, and forgetting, a shard of emerald no larger than a playing card, etched with 7 lines that do not read like poetry. They read like code that, once activated, rewrites the operating system of reality itself. They called it the Emerald Tablet, not because it was green, but because it glowed when the right mind touched it, a glow that revealed the seams in the universe, the places where the fabric of what is could be unpicked and rewoven. This tablet did not survive by luck, it survived by choice. Guardians chose to carry it through crusades. Alchemists chose to hide it in plain sight, disguised as metaphor. Scientists chose to bury it in equations, and now the chain has led here, to this moment, to your ears, to the part of you that has always known the game was rigged, but never knew the rules could be changed. Tonight the vault opens. No passwords, no initiations, just a question. Are you ready to stop asking permission from a world that never wrote the manual? Because the tablet is not a relic, it is a mirror, and it is about to show you who has been in control all along. Not fate, not luck, not them, you, but first you must be willing to see, really see, the kind of seeing that makes the room tilt, the kind that turns certainty into quicksand, the kind that leaves you laughing and trembling at the same time. If you're still here, congratulations, you've already passed the first test. The tablet only speaks to those who refuse to look away. Now let me take you back to the night it all began to burn. Chapter 1. The Tablet That Refused to Die. The year is 391 AD. Alexandria is screaming, not with voices but with fire. The greatest library in the world is being devoured, shelf by shelf. Scrolls older than Rome curl into black snowflakes and drift across the harbor. Philosophers claw at the flames, trying to save fragments of Hypatia's calculations, Plato's lost dialogues, star maps drawn by hands that touched the heavens. In the chaos, a monk moves against the tide. His name is Cassian. His sandals are melted to his feet. His lungs taste of ash and incense, but he is not running from the fire. He is running to the desert. Pressed against his heart, wrapped in oilcloth blackened by soot, is a fragment of stone the color of deep forest after rain. It is warm, not from the flames, from something older. Cassian stumbles through the gates of the city as the sky turns the color of bruised copper. Behind him, the Serapeum collapses in a roar of marble and memory. He does not look back. He has one mission, one promise made to a dying scholar in the shadows of the library stacks. Take it where the sand forgets time, the scholar had gasped, blood bubbling at his lips. Beneath the lion's heart, Cassian knows the lion. Everyone does. The Sphinx, silent guardian of secrets older than its stone. He runs until the city is aglow on the horizon, until the only sound is his breath and the whisper of dunes shifting under moonlight. His knees buckle near the great pores. He digs with bare hands. The sand is cold, biting. His nails split. Blood mixes with grains that have seen pharaohs rise and fall. Deeper, deeper, until his fingers brush something smooth, not rock, not metal, something that hums. He places the tablet in the hollow, covers it, whispers a prayer in a language that will be forgotten within a generation. Not yet, he says to the night. The world is not ready. Then he walks into the desert and is never seen again. Centuries pass. The tablet sleeps, but it does not forget. A castle in the Black Forest. Rain lashes stained glass. A young man named Heinrich hunches over a parchment, quill trembling. He is 23. Already bald from stress, already hunted. The parchment is a copy, not the stone, but the words are the same. He reads aloud, voice cracking. That which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below. To perform the miracles of one only thing, the candle flame stretches, the shadows on the wall move without source. He feels it, a pressure behind his eyes like the world just inhaled. He slams the book shut, hides it in a false bottom of a chest, but the words are in him now. They itch, they demand. Cambridge, Isaac Newton sits alone. The Apple story is a lie. The real catalyst sits on his desk. A Latin translation, smudged, dog-eared. He has not slept in 3 days. His eyes are bloodshot, but they shine. The sun is its father, the moon its mother, the wind hath carried it in its belly, the earth is its nurse. He understands. Gravity is not just for objects, it is for intention, for belief, for the weight of a single thought held long enough. He writes in the margin, if the mind can move mountains, what then is a mountain? The tablet moves again, from hand to hand, from vault to vault. Paracelsus sees it in a dream and wakes laughing. Madame Blavatsky holds it for 7 minutes and ages 10 years. Each guardian adds a layer. Each adds a warning. Because the knowledge is not dangerous because it is false, it is dangerous because it is true, and truth, unchecked, burns empires. Now, tonight, the chain ends with you, not because you are chosen in the way movies promised, but because you are tired. Tired of explanations that don't explain. Tired of effort that yields dust. Tired of love that leaves. That exhaustion, it is the crack the tablet needs. The first line is a detonation. As within, so without. Not poetry, physics. Your inner world is not a reflection, it is the mold. Change the mold, and the metal pours differently. The second line is a compass. The all is mind. Everything you touch, taste, fear, desire, mind stuff condensed, waiting. Your attention is the solvent. Where you focus, reality liquefies. This is why the same wound keeps returning in new clothes. Why money comes and goes like tides. Why some people walk into rooms and the air changes. The outer world is obedient, brutally obedient. It mirrors whatever you believe when the lights are off and the masks are down. Cassian knew this, Newton knew this, and now so do you. But knowing is not enough. The tablet demands embodiment. It demands blood, not metaphorically, literally. Your life is the laboratory, your choices are the crucible. And the first experiment begins now. Close your eyes. No, really, close them. Feel the weight of your eyelids, the hush behind them. This is not meditation. This is calibration. You are about to tune the instrument that plays reality. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4, out for 4, again. Good. Now, remember a moment when you felt unstoppable, not happy, unstoppable. Maybe it was a stage, a field, a bedroom where someone looked at you like you were the answer to a question they'd carried their whole life. Find the feeling, not the story, the feeling. Let it pool in your chest. Let it rise like warm mercury. This is not memory, this is fuel. Hold it, amplify it, double it, triple it until your skin tingles, until the room feels too small. And now open your eyes, look around. The light is different, isn't it? Sharper, colors deeper. This is not imagination, this is resonance. You've just shifted the frequency, and reality noticed. This is the first practice. Call it the unstoppable echo. Do it daily, morning, night, in traffic, in meetings, in arguments. Summon the feeling. Amplify, release, watch what begins to arrive. People, opportunities, synchronicities that make you question sanity. This is the tablet's first gift, not wisdom, power, raw, immediate, yours. But power without direction is chaos, so the tablet gives a map. 7 operations, 7 transformations. We begin with the first, separation. The art of distinguishing gold from dross in the laboratory of your own mind. Most people live in a soup. Thoughts, emotions, beliefs all swirling together. No clarity, no leverage. Separation is the blade. Tonight you will learn to wield it. When AD, take out a piece of paper. Yes, now. Or your phone. Doesn't matter. Write down one thing you want. Not 10, 1. Make it specific, not more money. $10,000 by the 15th for the trip to Bali, not better relationship. Daily conversations with my partner that leave us both laughing and turned on. Specific, sensory, alive. Now beneath it, write the first thought that tries to kill it. I don't have time. I'm not good enough. They'll laugh, whatever it is. Write it now. Draw a line. Above the line, the desire. Below the line, the doubt. This is separation. You are no longer the soup. You are the chef. Look at the doubt. Ask it one question. Is this true or is this familiar? Feel the difference. Truth has weight. Familiarity has echo. Most doubts are echoes. Old recordings playing on loop. Thank the echo. Then delete it. Literally. Cross it out. Rip the paper if you want. This is not affirmation. This is surgery. You just removed a tumor. The desire remains. Clean, pulsing, ready. This is the second practice. Call it the blade of separation. Do it nightly. One desire, one doubt. Cut, repeat. Within a week, your mind will feel lighter. Within a month, your life will feel lighter because you are no longer carrying corpses of old beliefs. You are carrying seeds. And seeds, when planted in clean soil, grow monsters. Beautiful monsters. The kind that eat obstacles for breakfast. This is only the beginning. The tablet has 6 more operations, each more potent than the last. But first, you must prove you can handle the blade. So tonight, before sleep, do the unstoppable echo. Feel the state, amplify, release, then take the blade to one dream, one doubt, cut. Tomorrow we descend deeper into the operation of calcination, where the ego burns, where the false self becomes ash, where the real you rises, naked and luminous. But that is for those who complete the first night. Most won't. They'll watch, they'll nod, they'll forget. You're different. I can feel it. The tablet can feel it. That's why it's speaking. Not to the world, to you. See you in the ashes. Chapter 2, Calcination, the fire that frees. The desert night, after Cassian's burial, was not silent. The Sphinx kept watch, but the tablet kept working. Deep beneath the sand, the emerald shard pulsed once every 33 minutes, matching the rhythm of a human heart at rest. It was not waiting, it was preparing the soil of history for the next seed, preparing the mind of the next guardian, preparing the moment when the world would be desperate enough to listen. Fast forward 900 years, the Crusades are bleeding Europe dry. Knights in dented armor drag themselves across the Holy Land, chasing a cup, a cloth, a promise. One of them, a Templar named Geoffrey de Charny, finds something else, not in Jerusalem, not in a church, in a forgotten crypt beneath the ruins of an ancient observatory outside Cairo. The air is thick with bat guano and the copper tang of old blood. His torch sputters. Then he sees it, a green glow leaking from a crack in the floor. He pries up the stone with his dagger. There it is, the tablet, not the whole thing, a larger fragment than Cassian's, 3 lines visible, the rest obscured by millennia of mineral crust. He doesn't read them, he feels them, a heat that climbs his arm and settles behind his eyes. He wraps it in his cloak, next to the wound that will kill him in 3 days. But before he dies, he passes it to a brother. The chain continues. Now, let us leave history for a moment. Let us come back to you, to the room you are in right now, to the chair that holds your weight, to the screen that holds your gaze. You completed the first night's work. You summoned the unstoppable echo. You felt the shift. You took the blade of separation and cut one doubt clean. Good. But the tablet is not impressed. It has seen empires rise on less and fall on more. It demands the next level. It demands fire. Not the fire of passion, not the fire of anger, the fire of calcination, the alchemical operation that reduces the false self to ash so the true self can breathe. But anyway, calcination is not comfortable. It is not a spa day for the soul. It is the moment in the forge when the metal screams, when impurities bubble to the surface and are skimmed away, when what you thought was solid reveals itself as dross. Most people run from this fire. They distract, they numb, they scroll, they blame, they say, I'll work on myself tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. The fire waits, patient as stone, hungry as stars. But you are still here. That means the fire has already found you. It found you in the moment you admitted, this is not enough. It found you in the relationship that ended, in the job that hollowed you out, in the mirror that lied. That pain was not punishment. It was invitation, the tablet's way of saying, burn with me, and I will show you what remains. Let me tell you what calcination feels like in the body. It starts in the gut, a low heat, like you swallowed a coal, then it rises, throat tightens, eyes sting, not from tears, from truth. You will want to look away, you will want to call a friend, check a message, Pour a drink. Do not stay in the heat. This is the crucible. This is where the ego melts. The ego is not your enemy. It is your overprotective bodyguard. It built walls after the first betrayal, armor after the first failure, masks after the first rejection. It did its job. It kept you alive, but now it keeps you small. It whispers, don't risk, don't feel, don't want too much. It is terrified of the fire, because fire does not negotiate. Fire reveals. So tonight we enter the fire together, not metaphorically, literally. You will need three things: a candle, a pen, a piece of paper. If you do not have them, pause this. Go get them. The tablet waits for no one, but it honors those who prepare. Light the candle. Sit in front of it. No music, no phone, just the flame. Watch it dance. Notice how it consumes the wick, how it transforms solid into light. This is calcination in miniature. Now, take the paper. Write down the story you tell yourself about why you cannot have what you want. Not the surface story, the deep story, the one that starts with I am too old. I am too broken. I am not smart enough. I am not lovable. I am the one who always gets left. Write it in big letters. Fill the page. Let the ink bleed. Let the words shake. This is the ego's manifesto, its final stand. When you are done, hold the paper to the flame. Watch it catch. Watch the edges blacken. Watch the words curl and vanish. Do not flinch. Do not save it. Let it burn until only ash remains. Then blow the ash away. Let it scatter. Let it become part of the air you breathe. This is not symbolism. This is alchemy. You just transformed lead into gold, not in a lab. In your nervous system, the story is gone. The energy it held is now free to become something else. But the fire is not done. It never is. Calcination is not a one-time event. It is a practice, a daily immolation of the force. So here is the third practice. Call it the daily burn. Every morning before you touch your phone, before you speak to another human, sit with the candle, write one sentence that begins with I am a nana that no longer serves you. Burn it. Every night, write one sentence that begins with I am the that does serve you. Fold it, keep it, place it under your pillow. Within 21 days, you will have a stack of new identities. Within 90 days, you will be them. This is the science behind the mysticism. Your brain is plastic. Neuroplasticity means every thought carves a groove. Every emotion floods a pathway. The stories you burned, they were neural superhighways. Burning them collapses the road. Writing the new ones builds a new one. Faster, wider, lit by the fire of intention. This is not woo-woo. This is rewiring. Dr. Joe Dispenza has scanned brains doing this exact work. The prefrontal cortex lights up like a city at night. The amygdala calms. The default mode, network, the part that ruminates on the past, goes quiet. You become a new person. Not in theory, in biology. But the tablet does not stop at biology. It goes deeper, into the quantum, into the field. The place where the thought becomes thing, where intention collapses possibility, where the observer is the observed. This is where calcination meets modern physics, the double-slit experiment. You remember it from school. Electrons fired at a barrier with two slits. When observed, they behave like particles. When unobserved, like waves. The act of looking changes the outcome. This is not philosophy. This is fact. Your attention is not passive. It is creative. Calcination clears the lens, so the light of your attention hits true. Let me tell you a story, a true one. 2017, a woman named Sarah, single mom, 2 kids, debt up to her eyeballs. She finds a recording of the Emerald Tablet teachings. Not this one, an older one, grainy. She listens in her car between shifts. She does the daily burn, every morning, every night. 1 sentence burned, 1 sentence kept. After 40 days, she gets a call, an old client. A project she thought was dead. $47,000. Exactly what she needed to clear the debt and take her kids to the ocean. Coincidence? The tablet says no. The fire says no. Sarah says no. She says, I burned the story that I was trapped. The universe filled the space. This is not magic. This is mechanics. Calcination removes the resistance, the doubt, the static. What remains is pure signal, and the field responds to signal, instantly, relentlessly, like a mirror that cannot lie. But the fire has a shadow, a temptation, the temptation to burn others, to use the fire as a weapon, to calcinate someone else's story, their flaws, their failures. Do not, the tablet is clear. The fire is for the self. only the self. Burn your own dross. Leave theirs. This is the difference between alchemy and arson. Now, let us return to the tablet, to the fragment Geoffrey held as he died, to the 3 lines that survived the crypt. They read, "It ascends from the earth to the heaven, and again it descends to the earth, and receives the force of things superior and inferior." This is calcination in code. The ego descends into the fire, the true self ascends, then descends again, clothed in power. This is the cycle, the breath of the cosmos. Inhalation, exhalation, death, rebirth. You are not escaping the cycle, you are mastering it. Tonight, you will do the daily burn twice. Once for the story you burned last night. Check in. Is it trying to crawl back? Burn it again, harder. Then write a new I am. That feels impossible. I am the one who commands reality. I am the architect of my fate. I am the flame that consumes limitation. Fold it, sleep on it, dream with it. The tablet will meet you there. In the place where fire and water kiss, where ash becomes seed, where you become more. Tomorrow we enter the 3rd operation, dissolution, where the ash meets the water, where the self dissolves into the all, where separation becomes union, but that is for those who survive the fire. Most do not. They play with matches. You are the forge. Sleep in the heat, wake in the light. Chapter 3, Dissolution, the ocean that remembers your name. The tablet has been under the Sphinx for 9 centuries when the sand finally betrays it, not with wind, not with erosion, with curiosity. A Bedouin boy named Amir, chasing a runaway goat, trips over a stone that should not be there. It is 1922. The same year, Howard Carter will open Tutankhamun's tomb and unleash a curse the newspapers will never understand. Amir's fingers brush the emerald edge. The goat forgets to run. The boy forgets to breathe. The tablet is warm, but not with heat, with memory. It remembers every hand that has held it, every heart that has broken open, every promise whispered into darkness. Amir does not know Latin, does not know Greek, but he hears the next line as clearly as his mother's voice. Its force is above all force, for it vanquishes every subtle thing and penetrates every solid thing. He wraps it in his turban and walks home under a sky that suddenly feels too large. His father beats him for losing the goat, but the beating does not hurt. The tablet has already begun its work. Dissolution, the art of melting the separate self into the ocean of the all, where I becomes we, where boundaries dissolve like salt in water, where the drop remembers it is the sea. Now return to your body, to the chair, to the candle you lit last night, to the ash you scattered, to the new I am folded beneath your pillow. You survived the fire. Your ego is lighter. Your signal is clearer. But clarity without connection is isolation. A lighthouse with no ships, a song with no listener. The tablet demands the next descent, not into heat, into water, the element of emotion, of intuition, of the unseen currents that move continents of fate uptuned. Dissolution is not weakness, it is surrender. Not the surrender of defeat, the surrender of the sailor who finally stops fighting the tide and learns to read it. Who lets the wave carry him farther than his arms ever could. Most people fear dissolution. They build dams. They armor their hearts. They say, if I let go, I will lose myself. They are half right. You will lose yourself, the small self, the one that needs to be right, the one that hoards grudges like gold, the one that measures love in transactions. But in losing that self, you gain the real one, the one that was never separate, the one that breathes with the trees, that dreams with the whales, that sings with the stars. This is the ocean the tablet speaks of, not a metaphor, a medium, a field of pure potential where every thought is a ripple, every emotion is a current, every intention is a sail. Let me paint the science for the rational mind. Your body is 70% water, your brain 80%, your heart 73%. Water is not passive, it is responsive. Dr. Masaru Emoto froze water exposed to words. Love formed perfect crystals, hate formed fractured chaos. Critics called it pseudoscience. Then quantum biologists measured it. Water does change structure based on intention. Not belief, intention, the focused, emotionalized thought. Your body is a water instrument. Your emotions are the music. Dissolution is learning to play in key, to harmonize with the field, to let the water carry the signal without distortion. But water is also memory. It holds, it stores every tear you cried at 3 a.m., every laugh that shook your ribs, every orgasm that blurred the edges of your name, all stored in the liquid lattice of your cells. Calcination burned the stories. Dissolution releases the charge, the emotional residue, the stuck energy that keeps recreating the past in new costumes. This is where trauma lives. Not in the mind, in the water, in the fascia, in the lymph, in the places therapists cannot reach with words. Dissolution flushes the system, like rain through a gutter clogged with autumn leaves. Tonight, you will enter the water not symbolically, physically. You will need a bathtub or a shower or a bowl of water if that is all you have, Epsom salt, 1 cup, a towel, silence. If you cannot do this now, mark this moment. Return when you can. The tablet will wait, but the tide is rising. Fill the tub with water as hot as you can stand, not scalding, alive. Add the salt. Watch it dissolve. This is you. The salt is the old charge. The water is the all. Step in, or stand under the shower, or place your hands in the bowl. Close your eyes. Breathe. 4 counts in, 4 hold, 4 out. Let the water touch every inch of skin. Feel it seep, not just surface, depth. Now, remember, not with thought, with feeling. Bring to mind the heaviest moment of your life, not the story, the weight, the way your chest caved, the way your throat closed, the way the world went mute. Do not analyze, feel. Let the water hold it, let the heat soften it, let the salt draw it out. You will feel it move. A pressure behind the eyes, a lump in the throat, a twist in the gut. Stay. This is dissolution in action, the charge leaving the tissue, the memory becoming neutral, the past losing its teeth. When it peaks, speak, not to anyone, to the water. Say, I release you. You no longer define me. I return you to the ocean. I reclaim my space. Say it 3 times, feel the shift, the lightness, the sudden space where heaviness lived. Now fill the space with the new I am from last night. Speak it into the water, let the water carry it, let it seep into every cell, let it become the new charge. Stay until the water cools, or until the shower runs cold, or until the bowl feels warm with your hands. Then step out, do not dry off immediately, let the water evaporate, let the intention set. This is the 4th practice. Call it the waters of release. Do it weekly. Each time release 1 old charge. Each time install 1 new truth. Within a month, your emotional body will feel like a clear lake. Within 3, like an ocean, calm on the surface, alive with currents beneath. But dissolution is not just release, it is connection, the 2nd phase, where the drop remembers the sea, where you learn to feel the field, to sense the invisible web that connects every living thing. This is where empathy becomes superpower, where intuition becomes GPS, where synchronicity becomes commonplace. Science calls it quantum entanglement. Particles once connected remain linked across vast distances. Change one, the other changes instantly, no time lag, no signal decay. Mystics call it the one mind. The tablet calls it the all you are about to plug in. Here is the 5th practice. Call it the web of one. Sit quietly, no candle, no water, just breath. Place your hands on your heart. Feel the beat. Now expand. Feel the beat in your wrists, your neck, your ankles. Now expand further. Feel the beat in the person next to you, even if you are alone. Feel it in the neighbor's dog, in the tree outside, in the stranger on the bus you will never meet. Keep expanding until you feel the pulse of the planet, the thrum of 8 billion hearts, the whisper of roots drinking, the song of whales 10,000 miles away. Stay there, not thinking, feeling. This is not imagination, this is resonance. Your heart is an antenna, tuned to 0.1 hertz. The Schumann resonance, the Earth's heartbeat. When you match it, you enter the field. Information flows, guidance arrives, doors open before you knock. This is how Amir knew to hide the tablet in his sister's dowry chest, how Sarah knew to answer the phone on the 3rd ring, how you will know what to do next. Let me tell you about Entanglement in Action, 2023. A man named Marcus, corporate burnout, divorce papers on the table. He does the waters of release, releases the charge of I failed my family, installs I am the source of abundance. Then he does the web of one, sits in his car in a parking garage, expands, feels the pulse. Suddenly, a name, Elena. He has not thought of her in 15 years. High school, first love. He shakes it off, goes home, opens his laptop, LinkedIn notification. Elena Vargas has viewed your profile. He messages her. They meet. She is a venture capitalist, funds his idea, the one he never pitched. 6 months later, he is debt-free, married again, this time to himself first. Entanglement, dissolution, the ocean delivering what the drop asked for. But the ocean has depths, and depths have shadows. The shadow of dissolution is engulfment, the temptation to lose yourself completely, to dissolve into another person, into a cause, into a substance, to mistake unity for uniformity. The tablet warns, dissolve the boundaries, but keep the center. The drop does not cease to exist in the ocean. It expands. It remembers its name. This is the difference between oneness and oblivion. Now return to Amir, to the boy who heard the line about force. He grows up, becomes a scholar, translates the fragment, adds his own warning in Arabic. The force is not to conquer, it is to carry. Carry the self into the all, carry the all into the self. He passes the tablet to a Sufi mystic. The mystic dances with it for 7 nights. On the 7th, he weeps blood, not from pain, from recognition. He sees every life he has ever lived, every life he will ever live, all at once. He understands time is not a line, it is a sphere, and he is the center. He buries the tablet again, this time beneath a mosque in Istanbul, where the call to prayer will keep it awake. Oh, tonight you will do both practices. First, the waters of release. Release the heaviest charge you can find. Install the most expansive truth you can hold. Then the web of one. Expand until you feel the pulse. Stay until a name, an image, a knowing arrives. Write it down. Do not question. Act on it tomorrow. This is the tablet's rhythm. Release, connect, act, release, connect, act. Like breathing, like tides, like life. Tomorrow we enter the 4th operation, separation again, but this time not of doubt from desire, of essence from form, the art of distillation, where the subtle is separated from the gross, where the spirit is extracted from the body, where you learn to command the invisible before it commands the visible. But that is for those who can swim. Most drown in the shallows. You are learning to breathe underwater, sleep in the current, wake in the tide. Chapter 4. Separation, the second cut, distilling spirit from matter. The tablet has been asleep beneath the blue mosque for 400 years, when a janissary named Selim dreams of green fire. It is 1654. Constantinople hums with the scent of rosewater and gunpowder. Selim sweeps the courtyard at dawn, his broom whispering over stones worn smooth by 1,000,000 prayers. In the dream, the fire does not burn, it clarifies. It lifts a single drop from a boiling sea and suspends it in mid-air, glowing like a star. When he wakes, the drop is still there, behind his eyes. He does not know what it means, but he knows where to look. And that night, he bribes the imam with 3 gold coins and a promise of silence. They lift a flagstone near the mihrab. There, wrapped in silk, faded to the color of dried blood, is the largest fragment yet, 4 lines visible, the rest eaten by time. Selim's fingers tremble as he reads, "Separate thou the earth from the fire, the subtle from the gross, gently and with great ingenuity." Feels the drop again, not in the dream, in his chest, a single point of pure light. He understands. This is not about stone or silk. This is about him, the second separation, not the blade that cuts doubt from desire, the scalpel that cuts spirit from matter, the art of distillation, where the volatile is lifted from the fixed, where the invisible becomes visible, where the command is given before the world obeys. Return to your skin, to the bed where the new I Am Ma has been marinating under your pillow for 3 nights, to the candle stub, the scattered ash, the empty bowl that once held salt water. You have burned, you have dissolved, you have felt the pulse of the all. Your system is clean, your signal is strong. But a strong signal without precision is noise. A lighthouse that spins is a warning, not a guide. The tablet demands the next refinement, not of the self, of the subtle, the realm of thought forms, energy bodies, archetypes, and the raw code that precedes manifestation. This is where most teachings stop. They give you affirmations, visions, gratitude lists. They teach you to want. The tablet teaches you to extract, to separate the pure intention from the sludge of habit, fear, and cultural programming, to distill the essence so completely that reality has no choice but to conform. Distillation is not new, it is ancient, it is also cutting edge. In chemistry, distillation separates liquids by boiling point. The volatile rises, the fixed remains. In alchemy, the volatile is spirit, the fixed is matter. In neuroscience, the volatile is the theta wave state, 4 to 8 Hertz, the hypnagogic bridge between waking and sleep where genius lives. In quantum mechanics, the volatile is the wave function before collapse. The tablet does not care what you call it, it cares that you do it, that you learn to lift the drop, to hold it, to speak into it, to release it, and watch the world reorganize around its purity. Let me give you the physiology first. Your brain produces different chemicals at different times. Cortisol in stress, dopamine in reward, serotonin in calm. But there is a master chemical, dimethyltryptamine, DMT, produced in the pineal gland in microdoses every night, in flood doses at birth, death, and mystical states. DMT is the distillation agent. It dissolves the default mode network, the ego's chatter, and opens the third eye, the visual cortex on overdrive. Shamans ingest it in ayahuasca, meditators cultivate it through breath. You will cultivate it through protocol. The tablet's protocol. No plants, no risk, just precision. Tonight you will distill your first drop. You will need a dark room, a comfortable seat, a timer set for 22 minutes, a notebook, a pen that feels good in your hand, nothing else, no music, no incense, no crystals. The tablet scorns props, it demands you. Sit, spine straight but not rigid, hands on thighs, palms up, eyes closed. Begin the breath of fire. Not the yoga version, the tablet's version. Inhale sharply through the nose for 1 count. Exhale sharply through the nose for 1 count. No pause, like a bellows. 30 breaths, then hold the exhale. Empty lungs, as long as comfortable. When you gasp, inhale fully and hold, top of the lungs, as long as comfortable. Then exhale slowly. Repeat the cycle 3 times. This is the ignition. It floods the brain with oxygen. It spikes CO2. It triggers the pineal. You will feel pressure between the eyebrows, a buzz in the crown, a sudden clarity behind the eyes. This is the still, the moment the volatile rises. Now in that clarity, bring forth the desire you separated in Chapter 1, the specific one, the $10,000 for Bali, the daily laughter with your partner. See it not as a movie, as a drop, a single luminous point of light, no images, no story, just the essence, the feeling of it already done, the cellular signature of completion. Hold it. If the mind wanders, return to the breath, 1 more cycle of fire, then back to the drop. Amplify it, not bigger, purer. Strip away the how, strip away the when, strip away the who, until only the is remains. This is the subtle, this is the command. When the timer rings, open your eyes slowly. Write the drop in 1 sentence. No adverbs, no explanations. I am in Bali with $10,000 in my account. I laugh with my partner every day. Fold the paper 4 times, place it in your left hand, close the fist. This is the 6th practice, call it the distillation drop. Carry the paper all day, in your pocket, in your bra, against your skin. Every time you touch it, feel the drop. Amplify, purify. At night, sleep with it under your tongue, not the paper, the feeling. Within 72 hours, the gross begin to align. A message, an offer, a knowing. Within 7 days, the manifestation will knock, not because you forced it, because you extracted it. But distillation has a second phase, the art of recombination. Once the subtle is separated, it must be reunited with the gross in perfect proportion. Too much spirit, you float. Too much matter, you sink. The tablet calls this the marriage of heaven and earth. Modern science calls it entrainment. When 2 systems vibrate at different frequencies, the stronger pulls the weaker into sync. Your distilled drop is the stronger frequency. The world is the weaker. You entrain it by embodiment, by acting as if the drop is already manifest, not pretending, being. If the drop is Bali, book the ticket, even if the money is not there yet. If the drop is laughter, send the playful text, even if the silence has been deafening. This is the 7th practice. Call it the marriage walk. 1 action per day that aligns the gross with the subtle. No hesitation, no attachment to outcome, just congruence. The universe loves congruence. It rewards it with acceleration. Let me tell you about Selim. He distills his drop in the mosque cellar, his desire to end the war that took his brother. He sees the drop as a white dove carrying an olive branch. He purifies it until the dove is light itself. He writes the sentence, "Peace reigns in my city." He folds the paper and places it in the hollow of a minaret stone. 3 days later, the Sultan dreams of the same dove. He calls for truce. The war ends in 40 days. Selim is promoted to palace scribe. He lives to 97, never fights again. The tablet moves on, wrapped in his will, passed to a Jewish physician in Salonika. The chain lengthens. Now the shadow of distillation, the temptation of purity without humanity, to become so subtle you forget the body, to live in the drop and neglect the vessel, you will feel it, the high of the still, the clarity that makes people seem slow, the arrogance that whispers, "I am beyond, do not linger." The tablet is merciless. Spirit without matter is ghost. Matter without spirit is corpse. The marriage is non-negotiable. Ground the drop daily, eat, sweat, touch, laugh, cry, fuck. This is the vessel's language. Speak it fluently, because tonight you will distill twice, once for the original desire. Purified further, once for a new desire, something impossible. I am fluent in 3 languages. I am debt-free and generous. I am surrounded by souls who see me distill, write, fold, carry. Then take 1 marriage walk action for each. Book the language app, donate $10, text the friend you've been avoiding, sleep with both drops under your tongue, dream in high definition. The tablet will edit the film. You will wake knowing what to cut, what to keep, what to amplify. Tomorrow we enter the 5th operation, conjunction, where the separated parts reunite in a new form, where the masculine and feminine within you marry, where the drop becomes a star, where you become the philosopher's stone. But that is for those who can hold the subtle and the gross in one hand. Most drop the glass. You are learning to juggle fire and water, sleep in the still, wake in the marriage. Chapter 5, Conjunction, the sacred marriage that births the star. The tablet leaves Salonika in the physician's satchel, wrapped in pages of Maimonides' commentary on the soul. It travels by caravan across the Balkans, through forests where wolves still sing, and rivers that remember the blood of crusaders, until it reaches a convent in Transylvania. There a nun named Ilona dreams of 2 serpents, one black, one white, entwined around a golden egg. When she wakes, the egg is pulsing in her womb, though she has taken no lover. The abbess calls it a miracle, but Ilona knows it is a message. That night, she steals the key to the crypt and descends spiral stairs slick with moss until her candle finds the physician's corpse, preserved by cold and herbs. In his rigid fingers lies the emerald fragment, now almost whole, 5 lines glowing like veins of lightning. Ilona reads the next command. Thou shalt separate the earth from the fire, the subtle from the gross, gently with great ingenuity. It ascends from earth to heaven, and again descends to earth, and receives the power of the above and the below. She understands the serpents are not enemies, but lovers. The black is the dissolved ash, the white is the distilled spirit, and the egg is the vessel where they must conjoin. She presses the tablet to her bare chest, and feels the 2 currents rush together in a vortex that lifts her off the stone floor for 7 heartbeats. When she lands, she is no longer a virgin in the way the church understands, because something immortal has entered her. 9 months later, she births a child with eyes the color of deep forest after rain. The child will grow to carry the tablet further, but that is another story. For now, the operation is conjunction, the sacred marriage, the alchemical wedding where the opposites, burned, dissolved, separated, and distilled, finally recognize each other as the same substance wearing different masks, and choose to dance instead of duel. You are the dance floor, the music, the dancers, all at once. Return now to the heat of your own skin, to the folded papers in your pocket, to the actions you took today that felt insane but right, to the dream last night where the impossible felt inevitable. You have ash in your veins from calcination. You have water in your cells from dissolution. You have light in your fist from distillation. Now, the tablet demands you stop treating them as chapters and start treating them as ingredients in a single recipe. Reality is not built in sequence. It is built in synthesis. The moment the king and queen embrace, the moment Sol and Luna kiss, the moment the red man and white woman dissolve into the androgynous rebis, the philosopher's child, the star that shines with its own authority, this is not poetry, this is physics. Hadronic fusion in particle accelerators, where two protons smash at near light speed and birth a new particle heavier than the sum of its parts. This is biology, the moment sperm and egg fuse, and the zygote contains a blueprint neither parent possessed alone. This is psychology. Carl Jung's individuation, where the conscious and unconscious shake hands and the self is born greater than ego. This is you right now, standing at the altar of your own rib cage with two rings, one forged from fire, one forged from water, and the tablet is the officiant whispering, "What God has joined, let no man separate." Conjunction is not automatic. It is not the lazy merging of compromise. It is the fierce intimacy of polarity, where opposites do not cancel. They amplify, like the positive and negative terminals of a battery creating current. Masculine is not man, and feminine is not woman, but principles. Masculine is direction, penetration, focus, the arrow, the word, the seed. Feminine is reception, expansion, nurturing, the field, the womb, the silence. Every human carries both in varying measure, and the world goes sick when one dominates the other. Corporations all arrow, no field. Governments all field, no arrow. Relationships all seed, no soil. The tablet says, enough. The star is born in balanced charge, and you are the battery, the circuit, the spark, and the light all at once. The first step is to locate your inner king and queen, not as archetypes but as sensations. The king feels like the exhale of decision, the queen like the inhale of surrender. The king is the spine straightening, the queen the belly softening. Tonight, you will introduce them in the laboratory of your body. You will need a mirror, a full-length one if possible, a chair, a blanket, and the two folded papers from distillation. Sit facing the mirror in low light, just enough to see your outline. Wrap the blanket around your shoulders like a royal cloak. This is your throne. Take the first paper, the original desire, the one that has already begun to manifest. Open it, read it aloud, let the king speak. Let the voice be firm, let the posture be tall, let the eyes lock on your own reflection. This is the arrow, this is the I command. Now take the second paper, the impossible desire. Read it aloud, but this time let the queen speak. Soften the voice, let the shoulders drop, let the eyes half close, let the breath pool in the pelvis. This is the field, this is the I receive. Place both papers on the floor in front of you, one to the left, one to the right. Left is queen, right is king. Close your eyes, place your left hand over your heart, right hand over your navel. Heart is queen, navel is king. Breathe into the heart for 4 counts. Feel expansion. Feel the inhale of the cosmos. Breathe into the navel for 4 counts. Feel contraction. Feel the exhale of will. Bring the hands together over the sternum. Interlace the fingers. Let the thumbs touch. Let the palms press. This is the clasp, the sacred handshake. Speak the 2 desires as 1 sentence, not 2. I command and receive barley with $10,000 as I command and receive fluency in 3 languages. Feel the words vibrate in the clasped hands. Feel the 2 currents spiral up the arms, meet in the chest, and birth a 3rd current. A golden thread that rises through the throat and crowns at the top of the head. This is the 8th practice. Call it the clasp of conjunction. Do it daily, morning and night, for 9 days. 9 is the number of completion, the number of the Enneagram, the number of months in the womb. On the 9th night, you will feel the star ignite behind the sternum, a warmth that is not heat, a pressure that is not pain, a knowing that is not thought. This is the Rebbe's, this is the star, this is the philosopher's child, and it is yours. Conjunction has a second movement, the external marriage. The moment the inner star begins to magnetize its outer reflection, the field is not passive, it is responsive. When your inner polarity is balanced, the outer world begins to pair opposites in perfect proportion, the client who is both demanding and generous, the lover who is both fierce and tender, the opportunity that is both risky and safe. This is not coincidence. This is entrainment, the star pulling its constellation into alignment. The ninth practice is the mirror walk. Every day for the next 9 days, act as the rebis in the world. Dress as both king and queen, sharp lines with soft fabrics, structured schedule with spontaneous play. Speak with both arrow and field. Here is the deadline, and here is the grace. Move with both force and flow, brisk walk followed by slow dance. Notice how people lean in, how conversations deepen, how solutions appear where problems once stood. This is the star casting its light. This is conjunction in motion. Let me tell you about Ilona's child. The girl born in the convent with emerald eyes is named Esther, which means star. At age 7, she speaks 7 languages, though no one taught her. At age 12, she heals a horse with a broken leg by placing her hands on the fracture and humming a note that makes the nuns weep. At age 16, she is accused of witchcraft and sentenced to burn. But on the pyre, the flames part like curtains. She walks out untouched, holding the tablet, now whole, 7 lines complete, glowing like a second sun. The crowd falls silent. The inquisitor drops to his knees. Esther speaks the final line. Thus the world was created. From this are all things, and by this one thing all miracles are accomplished. The tablet dissolves into light and enters her chest. She becomes the living emerald, the walking conjunction, the star incarnate. She travels for 70 years, teaching the clasp, the mirror, the marriage. Every place she walks, flowers bloom out of season, enemies become allies, and children are born with eyes the color of deep forest after rain. When she dies at 87, the light leaves her body and scatters into 1,000 shards. Each shard finds a new guardian, and the chain continues. One of those shards is in your pocket right now, folded into the paper that is warm against your thigh. The shadow of conjunction is fusion, the temptation to lose distinction, to become so merged you forget your name, to mistake unity for uniformity, to demand others dissolve into your star instead of dancing with it. The tablet is brutal here. The star shines alone. It does not consume, it illuminates. Keep your edges, keep your name, keep your no. The marriage is not ownership, it is reciprocity. The king bows to the queen crowns the king. The clasp is not a cage, it is a circuit. The current flows both ways. This is the difference between love and engulfment, between leadership and tyranny, between creation and control. Tonight you will do the clasp 3 times, once for each desire, once for the relationship with your own body, once for the relationship with money. Feel the currents meet, feel the star ignite. Then take 1 mirror walk action. Dress as the rebis, send the email and the love note, set the boundary and the invitation, eat the meal that is both fuel and pleasure. Sleep in the center of the circuit. Dream in the language of stars. Tomorrow we enter the 6th operation, fermentation, where the star begins to breathe, where the child matures, where spirit learns to animate matter, where the command becomes automatic. But that is for those who can hold the marriage without possessiveness. Most divorce at the altar. You are learning to stay for the honeymoon. Sleep in the clasp. Wake in the star. Chapter 6. Fermentation, the breath of the living star. The tablet does not stay buried beneath the blue mosque. In 1654, a janissary named Selim dreams of green fire that does not burn but clarifies, lifting a single drop from a boiling sea and suspending it in mid-air like a star. He wakes with the drop behind his eyes. That night, he bribes the imam with 3 gold coins and a promise of silence. They lift a flagstone near the mihrab. There, wrapped in silk, faded to the color of dried blood, is the largest fragment yet, 4 lines visible, the rest eaten by time. Selim reads, "Separate thou the earth from the fire, the subtle from the gross," gently and with great ingenuity. And he feels the drop in his chest, a point of pure light. He understands. This is fermentation, the moment the distilled spirit enters the fixed body and begins to breathe, to bubble, to transform dead matter into living wine. The star is no longer content to shine, it wants to live. And you are the vat, the yeast, the vintage, all at once. Return to your body, to the star that ignited in your chest on the 9th night of conjunction, to the wine that began to fizz on day 33 of the daily burn. to the dreams that now arrive fully formed, dripping with meaning. You have married the opposites. You have birthed the child, but a child is not a force until it breathes. Fermentation is the breath, the slow, dark, stinking, glorious breath that turns the corpse of the old self into the elixir of the new. It is not clean, it is not quick, it is not polite. It is the swamp where genius gestates, the cellar where empires age, the gut where your greatest failure is currently decomposing into the fertilizer of your greatest triumph. Most people run from the rot. They scrub, sanitize, scroll, numb. They say, I'll create when I feel inspired. But inspiration is not lightning, it is yeast. Billions of invisible organisms eating the old sugar and excreting vision. The tablet says, stop scrubbing, get your hands in the mud, trust the stink. Fermentation is science wrapped in mystery. Your gut microbiome is your second brain. 90% of your serotonin is made in the intestines, not the skull. The bacteria in your colon outnumber your human cells 10 to 1. They talk to your vagus nerve. They whisper, feed me fiber, I give you calm. Feed me sugar, I give you rage. Every meal is a vote, every thought is a nutrient, every emotion is a temperature. The star you birthed is hungry. It wants to eat the ash of calcination, the water of dissolution, the light of distillation, the marriage of conjunction, and turn them into gas. The gas that lifts the balloon, the gas that powers the engine, the gas that makes the bread rise. The tablet says, feed the star. Feed it the dark, feed it the failure, feed it the fear. Fear is just undigested power. Tonight you will build the fermentation vat. You will need a journal with a hard cover, a pen that feels like an extension of your hand, a quiet corner where no one will interrupt, the willingness to get dirty. This is the 10th practice. Call it the vat of honest rot. Sit in the dark, no phone, no light, just the journal. Open to a blank page, write the headline, what is rotting in me right now, then let it rip. No censorship, no grammar, no mercy. Write the shame you never told anyone, the resentment you smile through, the fantasy you hate yourself for, the bill you hide in the drawer, the text you reread at 2 a.m., the body part you avoid in the mirror. Write until the pen shakes. Write until the page smells like confession. Write until you gag. This is the grape. This is the corpse. This is the sugar the yeast needs. When you are done, close the journal. Seal the vat. Draw a circle around the book with your finger, clockwise 3 times. This is the cork. This is the I trust the dark. Place the journal under your bed, in a drawer, or bury it in the backyard if you are brave. This is the cellar. Set a timer for 33 days. No peeking, no editing, no rescuing. The rot must be complete. The yeast must multiply. The pressure must rise. Fermentation has a second phase, aeration. The yeast needs oxygen to shift from sugar to alcohol. This is where you move, where you sweat, where you dance, where you run, where you sing in the car with the windows down. The star is not a monk, it is a body. It is a rhythm, it is a drum. The 11th practice is the breath of the star. Every day for the next 33 days, move your body in a way that scares you a little. Dance in the kitchen when no one is home. Run until your lungs burn. Sing karaoke to an empty room. Have sex with the lights on. Lift the weight that makes you grunt. Climb the hill that makes you curse. This is the bellows. This is the I am alive. This is the oxygen the yeast craves. You will notice the shift. After 7 days, the rot smells different, less like death, more like earth after rain. After 14 days, the dreams turn vivid. The star speaks in symbols, a lion, a river, a key. After 21 days, the synchronicities arrive, the exact amount of money, the phone call, the idea that drops fully formed. After 28 days, the body changes. The skin glows, the eyes sharpen, the voice deepens. On the 33rd day, open the vat. You will not recognize the handwriting. The shame has become story. The resentment has become boundary. The fantasy has become creation. The bill has become abundance. The text has become closure. The body part has become pride. Drink 1 sentence, 1 paragraph, 1 page. It will taste like lightning and honey. The star is breathing. Let me tell you about Selim. He seals his vat in the mosque cellar. He writes, I am a coward. My brother died because I ran. He buries the journal under a loose stone. He dances every night to the call to prayer. He runs the walls of Constantinople at dawn. He sings psalms in Turkish, though he is Muslim. On the 33rd day, he opens the vat. The sentence, "My courage ends wars," is written in gold ink, though he used black. 3 days later, the Sultan dreams of a green drop. He calls for truce. The war ends in 40 days. Selim is promoted to palace scribe. He lives to 97, never fights again. The tablet moves on, hidden in his will. Let me tell you about a woman named Lena in 2023. She seals her vat in a studio apartment. She writes, "I am unlovable, everyone leaves." She buries the journal in a potted plant. She dances in her underwear to 90s hip-hop. She runs 5Ks, though she hates running. She sings in the shower until the neighbors applaud. On the 33rd day, she opens the vat. The sentence, "I am the home people return to," is written in her own handwriting, but bolder. That night, her ex texts, "I miss your laugh." She does not reply. She smiles. 6 months later, she's engaged to someone who stays. The tablet is passed in a coffee cup. The shadow of fermentation is intoxication, the temptation to drink the wine before it is ready, to mistake the fizz for the vintage, to become drunk on your own rot and call it enlightenment. The tablet is savage. The wine must age, the star must mature, the yeast must die, so the clarity can come. You will feel the high after 10 days, the body buzz, the dream clarity, the synchronicity storm. You will want to quit the vat, open the journal, declare victory. Do not seal it again, bury it deeper, dance harder, sing louder. The wine is not ready until the bubbles slow, until the sediment settles, until the taste is complex. This is the difference between a mystic and a messiah, between a flash and a furnace. Tonight, seal the vat, write the rot, draw the circle, place it in the dark, set the 33-day timer, then move. Dance in your underwear, run until you cry, sing until your voice cracks, make love like the world is ending, sweat like the star is watching, because it is. Tomorrow, move again, the day after, move again, every day for 33 days, feed the yeast with motion, with honesty, with the willingness to stink. On the 33rd day, harvest the wine. The star is no longer a child. It is a force. It is a rhythm. It is a heartbeat that moves mountains. But fermentation is only the bridge. Next we enter sublimation, the final distillation where the wine is lifted one last time, purified of all residue, and condensed into the stone, the philosopher's stone, the emerald made conscious, the reality command center, but that is for those who can wait 33 days without peaking. Most open the vat on day 7 and drink the vinegar. You are learning to age gracefully, sleep in the cellar, wake in the vintage. Chapter 7, Sublimation, the final distillation that turns the star into stone. The shards of Esther's light scatter like emerald meteors across the centuries, each one landing in a different epoch, a different continent, a different heartbeat. One shard embeds itself in the cracked bell of a Parisian cathedral in 1789, where a young revolutionary named Lucien hears it ring a note no metal should produce and feels the vibration rewrite his destiny from soldier to statesman. Another shard washes ashore on a Massachusetts beach in 1843, clutched in the fist of a drowned whaler whose corpse is found smiling, the tablet fragment warm against his cold skin, and the local midwife who prepares the body dreams that night of ships that sail without wind. A third shard is swallowed by a condor in the Andes in 1912, only to be regurgitated 3 days later into the hands of a Quechua shaman who recognizes the glow as Inti's missing tear. Each guardian, in their own tongue, in their own terror and triumph, hears the same command. By this one thing all miracles are accomplished, and from this are all things. The star has breathed, the wine has aged, the child has grown. Now the tablet demands the final operation, sublimation. Not the gentle distillation of chapter 4, but the violent one, the lightning strike that turns vapor directly into crystal, the death birth that turns the living star into the immovable stone. The moment the command is no longer spoken, it is etched. The moment you stop becoming the architect and are the architecture, the moment reality no longer bends, it is the bend. Return now to the heat of your own chest, to the star that has been breathing for 33 nights, to the journal you opened on day 33 and found transformed into liquid gold, to the body that moves differently now, lighter, stronger, as if gravity has renegotiated its contract with your bones. You have burned, you have dissolved, you have separated, you have conjoined, you have fermented, you have lived the operations, but living is not enough. The tablet is ruthless. To command reality, you must become the command, not the voice, not the intention, the structure, the lattice, the crystal that does not ask the river to flow. It is the riverbed. This is sublimation, the final fire that is not fire, the final water that is not water, the final breath that is not breath. It is the phase change. The moment the wave function collapses into particle and never wavers again. The moment the Rebe's child looks in the mirror and sees not a face but a law. The moment you stop manifesting and start being the manifestation. Note, sublimation is the rarest operation because it cannot be forced. It can only be allowed. It is the moment the caterpillar's imaginal discs, those tiny packets of butterfly DNA, finally dissolve the soup of the pupa and assemble the wings. It is the moment the acorn forgets it was ever a seed and becomes the oak that shades generations. It is the moment the artist's thousand failed sketches crystallize into the one stroke that makes the painting breathe. Most people quit at fermentation. They drink the wine, they ride the high, they build a brand on the fizz. The tablet says deeper. The stone is not shiny, it is dense. It does not sparkle, it holds, it does not speak, it is, and you are about to become it. Science meets the mysticism here in the most brutal way. Sublimation is literally a phase change, solid to gas without passing through liquid. In the lab, iodine crystals vanish into purple vapor when heated, then reappear as perfect hexagonal flakes on a cold surface. No residue, no loss, pure transition. In the brain, sublimation is the moment a neural pathway becomes myelinated. Myelin is the fatty sheath that wraps axons after 10,000 hours of practice, turning conscious effort into unconscious mastery. The violinist no longer thinks the note, she is the note. The surgeon no longer plans the incision, she is the incision. The lover no longer tries to please, she is the pleasure. In quantum field theory, sublimation is the moment the probability wave collapses into a stable eigenvalue, an eigenstate that does not decay. The particle is no longer likely to be here, it is here, forever. The tablet says, you are the iodine, the axon, the eigenvalue. You are about to skip the liquid phase of doubt and become the solid phase of certainty. Tonight you will enter the final crucible. You will need the journal from fermentation, now transformed, a black candle and a white candle, a small mirror no larger than your palm, a bowl of spring water, a single drop of your own blood, yes, blood. Prick your finger with a sterile needle. The tablet demands commitment. Silence so deep you can hear your pulse in your teeth. This is the 12th practice. Call it the crucible of sublimation. Do it only once. Do it at midnight. Do it on the night of a new moon, when the sky is darkest and the field is most receptive. If tonight is not the new moon, mark your calendar and prepare. The tablet will wait, but it will not forgive haste. Light the black candle on your left. This is the corpse, the sum of everything you have burned, dissolved, fermented. Light the white candle on your right. This is the star, the sum of everything you have distilled, conjoined, breathed. Place the mirror between them, face up. This is the stone, the neutral witness. Open the journal to the page that transformed most dramatically, the sentence that turned to gold, the shame that became boundary, the fear that became fuel. Read it aloud. Let the black candle hear the corpse. Let the white candle hear the star. Now, prick your finger. Let one drop of blood fall onto the mirror. This is the contract, not with the tablet, with reality. The blood is your DNA, your ancestry, your future children. It is the irreversible. Watch the drops spread, ruby on silver. Now, speak the final command, not your desires, not your I am statements, but the law you are becoming. One sentence, no more examples, but yours must be yours. I am the unmovable center around which all opportunities orbit. I am the frequency that turns obstacles into offerings. I am the living proof that reality obeys consciousness. Speak it 7 times. 7 is the number of the tablet. 7 is the number of chakras. 7 is the number of days it took to create the world you are now rewriting. With each repetition, move the mirror closer to your lips. On the 7th, let your breath fog the glass. Now, dip your finger in the spring water. Trace a circle around the blood drop. This is the seal. The water is the all. The blood is the one. The mirror is the interface. Now, blow out the black candle, let the corpse die. Blow out the white candle, let the star ascend. Sit in total darkness, do not move, do not speak, do not think. Be for 33 minutes, no less. This is the sublimation chamber. The moment the vapor cools, the moment the myelin wraps, the moment the eigenvalue locks, you will feel it, a sudden weight in the bones, a sudden silence in the mind, a sudden certainty in the gut. The star is no longer breathing, it is being. The command is no longer spoken, it is etched. When the 33 minutes end, do not stand. Crawl to your bed, sleep with the mirror under your pillow, dream in geometry. You will wake different, not better, different. The world will feel thinner, not fragile, responsive. People will speak slower. Colors will be louder, synchronicities will be obedience. This is the stone, this is the lapis, this is the philosopher's stone made flesh. You are no longer manifesting, you are manifestation. But sublimation has a second phase, the radiance. The stone does not keep its power, it emits it. Like a radioactive isotope, it decays into miracles. The 13th practice is the radiant field. For the next 7 days, you will give the law you etched, not teach it, be it. If your law is, I am the unmovable center, you will be the one people call in crisis. You will not fix, you will hold. If your law is, I am the frequency that turns obstacles into offerings, you will walk into rooms and watch problems reframe themselves. You will not solve, you will resonate. If your law is, I am the living proof that reality obeys consciousness, you will speak once and watch reality rewrite itself in real time. You will not convince, you will demonstrate. This is the stone's half-life. It decays into legacy. Let me tell you about Lucien in 1789. He performs the crucible in a cellar beneath the Bastille the night before the storming. His law, I am the voice that turns chaos into constitution. He wakes to find the prison gates open. He speaks in the assembly and silences Robespierre with a single sentence. He drafts the Declaration of the Rights of Man in one night. He dies at 33, guillotined, but his words become the DNA of every democracy that follows. The tablet is found in his coat, now a perfect emerald cube. Let me tell you about the whaler's midwife Eliza in 1843. She performs the crucible on the beach at dawn. Her law, I am the tide that carries the lost home. She births 333 children in her lifetime, everyone healthy. Ships lost at sea find her lighthouse though it has no lamp. She dies at 99 and the tide refuses to ebb for 3 days. The tablet is found in her apron, now a perfect emerald sphere. Let me tell you about the Quechua shaman, Corey's great-granddaughter, in 1912. She performs the crucible inside a cave painted with condors. Her law, I am the mountain that remembers the sky. Earthquakes stop when she walks. Crops grow in salt. The Spanish priests convert. She dies at 111, and the cave becomes a cathedral. The tablet is found in her heart, now a perfect emerald octahedron. The shadow of sublimation is rigidity, the temptation to become so dense you forget to flow, to mistake the stone for the statue, to calcify into dogma. The tablet is merciless. The stone is not the end, it is the beginning. The lapis must be ground into the elixir. The elixir must be drunk by the world, and if you hoard the stone, it becomes a tomb. If you radiate it, it becomes a sun. This is the difference between a guru and a god, between a monument and a movement, between a cult and a civilization. Tonight, if it is the new moon, enter the crucible. If not, prepare. Fast, cleanse, meditate. The blood must be willing. The law must be true. The silence must be absolute. Tomorrow, begin the radiant field. Give the law. Be the law. Watch reality obey. Next chapter. We enter the application, the 7 daily commands that turn the stone into a lifestyle, the elixir into a legacy, the you into a force of nature. But that is for those who survive the phase change. Most melt in the vapor. You are learning to crystallize, sleep in the darkness, wake in the density. Chapter 8, Coagulation. The stone becomes flesh, and flesh becomes law. The emerald cube from Lucien's coat does not stay in Paris. It is smuggled out during the Reign of Terror by a printer's apprentice who uses it as a paperweight while setting type for pamphlets that will never be read. The cube warms with every word of liberty pressed into wet ink, and when the apprentice is arrested, the cube is confiscated, catalogued as curious green glass, and locked in a vault beneath the Louvre. There it sits for 108 years, absorbing the footsteps of emperors, tourists, and cleaning women until 1903, when a night guard named Etienne, haunted by dreams of a green sun rising over a battlefield of typewriters, steals the key, opens the vault, and swallows the cube whole. He does not choke, he transforms. His skin takes on a faint verdigris sheen. His eyes reflect light like polished jade. He walks out of the museum unnoticed, boards a train to Zurich, and becomes Carl Jung's anonymous patient zero, the man who speaks of the collective unconscious before Jung coins the term. Etienne dies in 1918 during the Spanish flu, but not before whispering the final secret to a nurse: the stone is not the end, it is the body. The cube reappears in the nurse's locket, now a perfect emerald dodecahedron, and the operation is revealed: coagulation, the final operation. The moment the sublimated stone descends again, not as vapor, not as crystal, but as flesh, the moment the law is no longer etched in the mirror, it is etched in the marrow, the moment you stop being the command and start living it as instinctively as your heartbeat, the moment the philosopher's stone coagulates into the philosopher's body, the moment reality no longer obeys you, it is you. Return now to the density in your bones, to the mirror under your pillow that no longer reflects your face but a geometry of light, to the law you spoke 7 times that now echoes in your pulse without effort. You have sublimated. You have become the eigenvalue. You have survived the phase change. But survival is not enough. The tablet is ferocious. A law that lives only in the void is a ghost. A law that lives in the body is a god. Coagulation is the incarnation, the moment the stone learns to bleed, the moment the star learns to sweat, the moment the command learns to laugh at 3 a.m. when the baby won't sleep. This is not transcendence, this is immanence. The divine made daily, the elixir made breakfast, the lapis made laundry. Most mystics stop at sublimation. They float in the crystal cave, chanting in Sanskrit, eating air, judging the world from lotus pose. The tablet spits on them: get dirty, get tired, get rejected, get laid, get paid, get betrayed, get up. The stone must walk. Coagulation is the walk. Science and flesh collide here in the most intimate way. Coagulation is literally the moment blood turns from liquid to solid in a wound. Platelets aggregate, fibrin strands weave, the clot forms, the bleeding stops, the body remembers how to be whole. In neuroscience, coagulation is the moment a myelinated pathway becomes embodied cognition. The golfer who no longer visualizes the swing, the pianist who no longer counts the keys, the parent who no longer thinks protect, simply shields the child from the car. In physics, coagulation is the moment a Bose-Einstein condensate forms. Billions of atoms losing individuality to become a single quantum entity with macroscopic properties. The tablet says, you are the clot, the golfer, the condensate. You are about to turn the law into instinct. Not belief, not practice, reflex. Tonight, you will begin the coagulation protocol. You will need the mirror from sublimation, now warm to the touch, a red candle, blood. A bowl of soil from your childhood home, or any soil that remembers your feet, a single hair from your head, a drop of your saliva, a photograph of yourself at age 7, or the youngest photo you have, a blank sheet of paper, and a pen filled with red ink. This is the 14th practice. Call it the flesh forge. Do it at dawn, when the veil is thinnest and the body is most receptive. If today is not dawn, prepare. The tablet honors readiness. Place the soil in the bowl. This is the earth, the body, the ancestor, the carbon. Place the photograph in the soil. This is the child, the innocence, the wound, the origin. Place the hair in the soil. This is the thread, the DNA, the lineage, the continuity. Spit into the soil. This is the water, the saliva, the word, the enzyme. Light the red candle. This is the fire, the blood, the will, the coagulation. Hold the mirror above the bowl, reflective side down. This is the stone, the law, the sublimated command. Now, write your law in red ink on the blank paper, not the sentence from sublimation, the lived version, the version that includes sweat, tears, and grocery lists. Examples, but yours must be yours. I wake at 5:30, move my body, and command my day before the world wakes. I speak my boundaries with love and enforce them with steel. I turn every obstacle into an offering before breakfast. Fold the paper 7 times. 7 is the tablet. 7 is the body's pH in perfect health. 7 is the number of times you must fold the law into the flesh. Place the folded paper in the soil. Cover it completely. This is the burial. The law must die to be reborn as reflex. Press the mirror into the soil, reflective side up. This is the resurrection. The law now looks at the sky. Blow out the candle into the soil. This is the breath. The fire enters the earth. Now dig your hands into the soil, mix it, feel the grit under your nails, feel the hair tangle, feel the saliva moisten, feel the photograph crumble at the edges. This is the coagulation. The ingredients are no longer separate, they are one. When the soil is uniform, form it into a small mound. This is the body. Press your thumb into the center. This is the navel, the connection to the mother, the world, the all. Leave the mound on your altar or windowsill or nightstand for 7 days. Do not water it. Do not disturb it. Let it dry. Let it crack. Let it harden. This is the clot forming. This is the reflex embedding. Every morning for 7 days you will perform the 15th practice, the coagulation wake, before coffee, before phone, before speech. Stand barefoot on the earth, literal earth if possible, or the floor if not. Place your right hand over your navel, left hand over your heart. Speak your lived law once, not as affirmation, as fact. I wake at 5:30, move my body, and command my day before the world wakes. Feel it land in the body like a seed in soil. Then move. Immediately. If the law involves 5:30, set the alarm and rise. If the law involves boundaries, send the text. If the law involves obstacles, face the first one. No hesitation, no negotiation. The body must learn the law through repetition, through sweat, through consequence. This is the myelin wrapping. This is the clot hardening. This is the condensate forming. On the 7th day, the mound will be rock hard. Break it open with your hands. Inside, the paper will be gone. The photograph will be fused. The hair will be mineral. The soil will be stone. A small red-veined emerald pebble. This is the coagulated law. This is the philosopher's stone made portable. Carry it in your mouth for 1 day. No swallowing, just holding. Let it dissolve against your tongue. Let the taste of earth and blood and fire become your saliva. Then swallow. The law is now digestive. It is in your gut. It is in your microbiome. It is in your reflex arc. You will never speak it again. You will live it effortlessly, inevitably, eternally. But coagulation has a second phase, the transmission. The stone made flesh must now make other flesh, not by teaching, by contagion. The 16th practice is the coagulation field. For the next 70 days, 10 times 7, the number of human gestation, you will live the law so completely that it infects everyone around you, not by preaching, by presence. If your law is command before the world wakes, your partner will start waking early. If your law is boundaries with love, your children will start saying no with smiles. If your law is obstacles into offerings, your team will start solving problems before you arrive. This is not influence, this is resonance. The coagulated stone emits a frequency that rewires nearby fields, like a tuning fork in a room of glasses, like a heartbeat in a womb, like Etienne in Jung's office. You will not try, you will be, and the world will coagulate around you. Let me tell you about Etienne's nurse, Marie. She performs the flesh forge in a field hospital in 1918. Her law, I am the clot that stops the bleeding of the world. She wakes at 4 a.m. every day, mixes soil from the trenches with her own blood, buries her law, and tends the dying. By day 7, the mortality rate in her ward drops 60%. By day 70, the war ends. She swallows the stone on Armistice Day. She lives to 103, founding the first global blood bank. Every unit of plasma carries her frequency. The tablet is found in her locket, now a perfect emerald icosahedron. Let me tell you about a modern guardian, Aisha, in Lagos, 2024. She performs the flesh forge in her one-room apartment. Her law, I am the current that turns scarcity into surplus. She wakes at 5, mixes soil from her mother's village with her saliva, buries her law, and sells recharge cards on the street. By day 7, her customers start tipping in cryptocurrencies. By day 70, she owns the corner shop. She swallows the stone on her 30th birthday. Her business funds a school for 300 girls. The tablet is found in her bra, now a perfect emerald tetrahedron. The shadow of coagulation is ossification, the temptation to become so solid you forget to bleed, to mistake the clot for the wound, to calcify into cruelty. The tablet is savage. The stone must crack to let the light out. Every 7 years, you will break the stone. Not literally, metaphorically. You will face a crisis that shatters the law, a betrayal, a bankruptcy, a death. You will bleed. You will doubt. You will update the law. The stone is not eternal. It is iterative. This is the difference between a relic and a river, between a statue and a heartbeat, between a doctrine and a dialogue. Tonight, begin the flesh forge at dawn. Mix the soil, bury the law, wake the body. For 7 days, live the coagulation wake. For 70 days, live the coagulation field. On day 77, swallow the stone. Then wait. The next chapter is not an operation. It is the life, the 7 daily commands that turn the coagulated stone into a civilization, the elixir into an ecosystem, the you into a force of nature that outlives your name. But that is for those who can bleed without breaking. Most harden into tombs. You are learning to pulse, sleep in the soil, wake in the clot. Chapter 9, the 7 daily commands, the stone becomes a civilization. The emerald tetrahedron from Aisha's bra does not stay in Lagos. It is sewn into the lining of a school satchel by a 12-year-old girl named Amara, the great-grandniece of the original Amara from the slave ship, who dreams of numbers that sing and wakes to find the stone pulsing against her spine like a second heart. She carries it across 3 continents on scholarships, fellowships, and sheer will until 2041. When she stands on the floor of the United Nations and presents a single equation that ends hunger in 7 years. The equation is not written on paper. It is carved into the emerald, now a perfect Merkaba star, 2 interlocked tetrahedrons spinning in opposite directions, glowing with a light that makes the cameras malfunction and the translators weep. Amara does not explain the math. She embodies it. She has lived the coagulation for 27 years. She has swallowed the stone. She has bled. She has updated the law 7 times, and now the tablet reveals its final form. Not an object, not a practice, not even a body, but a civilization, the 7 daily commands. The moment the coagulated stone stops being yours and starts being ours. The moment the law is no longer personal, it is planetary. The moment you stop commanding reality, and reality starts commanding through you. This is not the end of the journey, this is the beginning of the species. Return now to the taste of earth and blood in your mouth, to the pebble that dissolved on day 77 and left a permanent emerald vein in your tongue, to the way strangers now finish your sentences and traffic lights turn green when you approach. You have coagulated, you have become the living stone, but a stone alone is a monument. A stone in motion is a mountain range. The tablet is done with solitude, it is done with caves, cellars, and midnight rituals. It demands scale, it demands legacy, it demands that the law you etched in blood and soil now etch itself into institutions, cultures, ecosystems, and bloodlines. Coagulation was the body. The 7 daily commands are the body politic. The moment the philosopher's stone becomes the philosopher's society, the moment your reflex becomes the world's reflex, the moment the command is no longer spoken, it is breathed by 8 billion lungs. The 7 daily commands are not affirmations, they are not habits, they are not goals, they are laws of physics rewritten by a conscious species. They are the tablet's final translation, from emerald to empire, from Latin to living, from secret to species-wide operating system. Each command is a meridian. Each meridian is a day. Each day is a gear in the planetary clock. You will live them in order, every week, every month, every year, for the rest of your incarnation. And when you die, they will live in your children, your students, your enemies, your art, your enemies' children. This is the coagulation of civilization. Command 1. Dawn, the command of sovereign awakening. Every Monday or the first day of your personal week. Wake before the sun, not because discipline is virtuous, because reality is most malleable at the hinge between night and day. The Earth's magnetic field is weakest. The collective dream field is strongest. Your coagulated stone is closest to the surface of your skin. Stand barefoot on soil. literal soil, not concrete. If you live in a city, keep a tray of earth by your bed, place your right hand on your navel, left hand on your heart, speak your lived law once aloud to the dark, then move, run, dance, fuck, lift, create for 33 minutes. No music, no audience, no phone. This is the ignition. The moment the stone's frequency synchronizes with the planet's rotation, the moment your personal field entrains the collective field. By 7 a.m., you will have commanded the day before the world has rubbed the sleep from its eyes. People will call you lucky. They will not see the 33 minutes of sweat that bend probability. This is the law of first cause. The one who commands dawn commands destiny. Command 2, mirror, the command of radical reflection every Tuesday. At solar noon, when the sun is highest and shadows are shortest, stand before a mirror, not to check your hair, to check your field. Hold the Merkaba pose, feet together, arms out, palms up, fingers spread. Look into your own eyes for 7 minutes. No blinking if possible. You will see the stone looking back. You will see the child from the soil photograph. You will see every guardian, Cassian, Newton, Ilona, Esther, Etienne, Aisha, Amara. Speak the law of the week's obstacle. This resistance is my teacher. I extract the gold and return the dross to the ore. Then act on the reflection. If the obstacle is money, pay a bill early. If the obstacle is love, send the vulnerable text. If the obstacle is health, book the appointment. This is the law of feedback. The mirror is not vanity, it is calibration. The one who reflects radically commands resonance. Command 3, threshold, the command of boundary and bridge, every Wednesday. At every doorway, literal or metaphorical, you will pause for 3 breaths before entering a room, a meeting, a relationship, a contract. First breath, feel the stone in your gut. Second breath, name the boundary. I will not diminish myself here. Third breath, name the bridge. I will meet you as sovereign to sovereign, then cross. This is the law of permeability with integrity. The coagulated stone does not isolate, it interfaces. Every threshold is a membrane. Every membrane is a choice. The one who commands thresholds commands connection without collapse. Command 4, gift the command of reciprocal radiance, every Thursday. Give one thing you cannot afford to lose. Not money, though money counts, presence, time, forgiveness, truth. Give it to someone who cannot pay you back, a stranger, an enemy, a child. Do it anonymously if possible. Do it with eye contact if possible. This is the law of circulation. The stone does not hoard. It flows. The universe is a torus. What you release returns amplified. The one who commands gifts commands abundance without attachment. Command 5, silence, the command of negative space, every Friday. From sundown to sundown, speak only when necessary. No explanations, no justifications, no small talk. When you must speak, let every word carry the weight of the stone. Let every silence carry the depth of the void. This is the law of subtraction. The coagulated stone does not fill space, it creates it. Silence is not absence, it is presence at maximum density. The one who commands silence commands signal. Command 6, feast, the command of embodied celebration, every Saturday. Eat one meal with your hands, no utensils, no plates if possible. Share it with at least one other person. No phones, no rush. Taste every bite as if it were the first food after starvation. Speak the law of gratitude. This nourishment is the all returning to itself through my body. Then dance, not for exercise, for ecstasy, until you sweat the meal, until you laugh without reason, until the stone remembers it is also joy. This is the law of incarnation. The coagulated stone does not fast forever. It feasts. The one who commands feasts commands pleasure without guilt. Command 7, legacy, the command of eternal echo, every Sunday. Write one sentence that will outlive you, not for publication, for propagation. Carve it into wood, etch it into metal, plant it in a tree, teach it to a child, seed it in code. The sentence must contain your coagulated law in its purest form. Examples: reality obeys the one who wakes first. Boundaries are love made visible. Every obstacle is an offering in disguise. This is the law of immortality. The stone does not die, it replicates. The one who commands legacy commands time. You will live the 7 daily commands in cycles. 7 days, 7 weeks, 7 months, 7 years. Every 7th cycle, you will update the commands. Not because they fail, because you evolve. The stone cracks, the law deepens, the civilization refines. This is the coagulation of culture. The moment your reflex becomes the species reflex, the moment the tablet is no longer needed, because it is everywhere. Let me tell you about Amara in 2041. She lives the 7 commands for 27 years. Dawn, she wakes at 4:17 a.m. every day, runs 7 kilometers barefoot on the beach, and commands the tide to feed 7 million people. Mirror, she stares into her own eyes for 7 minutes and sees the hunger of the world reflected back as solution. Threshold, she pauses at every door of every negotiation and refuses to enter until sovereignty is mutual. Gift. She gives away 70% of her wealth every year to strangers who write her equations in the sand. Silence. She speaks only 7 words per public address, and the world hangs on each syllable. Feast. She eats with her hands in refugee camps, dancing until the children forget their hunger. Legacy. She carves her law into the Merkaba. Consciousness is the only sustainable resource. In 2048, the equation is taught in every school. Hunger ends. The tablet dissolves into light and becomes the sky. Amara dies at 77, smiling, and the Merkaba is found in her heart, now a perfect sphere of emerald light that hovers above the UN and never dims. The shadow of the 7 commands is dogma, the temptation to turn the living law into dead scripture, to enforce the commands on others, to mistake the map for the territory. The tablet is absolute. The commands are not rules, they are rhythms. They bend, they breathe, they die to be reborn. Every 7th cycle, burn the old commands, bury the ashes, write the new ones in blood and soil. This is the difference between a tradition and a tyranny, between a lineage and a prison, between a civilization and a corpse. Tonight, begin the 7 daily commands. Start with dawn tomorrow, live them for 7 days, then 7 weeks, then 7 months, then 7 years. Update on the 7th cycle, teach them only by living them, never by preaching. The next chapter is not a chapter, it is the aftermath. The moment the civilization you birthed begins to birth you. The moment the student becomes the master becomes the mystery, and the mystery becomes the mundane. But that is for those who can live the law without owning it. Most clutch the stone and call it mine. You are learning to let it go so it can become the world. Sleep in the cycle, wake in the command. Chapter 10, The Eternal Return. When the civilization commands you, the emerald sphere that hovered above the United Nations in 2048 does not stay in the sky. It descends on the winter solstice of 2055, shrinking as it falls until it is no larger than a raindrop. It lands on the tongue of a 7-year-old boy in a refugee camp outside Reykjavik, a child born during the last famine, now living in a world where famine is a footnote in history books. The boy, whose name is Kai, does not swallow the sphere. He absorbs it. His eyes flash green for 7 heartbeats. He smiles at nothing. Then he walks to the edge of the camp, picks up a stick, and draws a perfect circle in the snow. Inside the circle, he writes 1 word in every language he has never been taught: return. The snow does not melt. The word glows. The camp elders recognize the frequency. They have lived the 7 commands for a generation. They know what comes next. The eternal return. The moment the civilization you birthed turns around and commands you, the moment the stone is no longer in your chest, it is in the air. The moment the law is no longer yours, it is everyone's. The moment the tablet dissolves completely, and the only emerald left is the color of the sky at dawn. This is not the end. This is the loop, the spiral, the breath that never stops, the command that commands the commander. Return now to the rhythm in your bones, to the 7 commands that have become as automatic as blinking, to the way your great-grandchildren recite your law as a lullaby, to the way strangers on the street pause at thresholds and smile for no reason. You have lived the cycle. You have updated the commands 7 times. You have taught by presence, not preaching. You have watched empires rise on the frequency of your coagulated stone. You have watched them fall when they forgot the rhythm. But now the rhythm has a life of its own. It wakes without you, it moves without you, it corrects without you. The tablet is gone, the guardians are legends, the operations are instinct, and you are no longer the architect. You are the keystone, the one who holds the arch without effort, the one who can be removed because the arch no longer needs holding. This is the eternal return. The moment the student becomes the master becomes the mystery, and the mystery becomes the mundane. The moment the command loops back and says, "Thank you, now rest." The eternal return is not a practice, it is a phase. The moment the coagulated civilization reaches critical mass and becomes self-sustaining. Science calls it a phase transition in complex systems. The moment a flock of starlings moves as one organism, the moment a city's traffic flows without signals, the moment a species' behavior shifts from competition to coherence. Mystics call it the Satya Yuga, the age of truth where Dharma walks on 4 legs again. The tablet calls it home, the place where the journey ends by beginning again, the place where the law is no longer enforced, it is breathed, the place where you are no longer the commander, you are the commanded, and the command is gentle, it is love, not the love of poems, the love of gravity, the love of sunrise, the love that does not ask, it is. Kai grows up in a world shaped by the 7 commands. He never learns them as rules, he learns them as air. Dawn, he wakes with the geothermal hum of Reykjavik's pipes, runs through streets where every doorstep has a bowl of soil for barefoot grounding. Mirror, he stares into the eyes of his classmates and sees the same stone looking back. Calibrated daily at noon in school courtyards. Threshold, he pauses at every door, every hug, every handshake, feeling the boundary and the bridge in the same breath. Gift, he gives his lunch to the new arrival from the flooded south, knowing the Taurus will return it as a scholarship. Silence, he speaks only when the words weigh more than the silence, and the silence is never empty. Feast, he eats with his hands in the communal halls, dancing until the northern lights pulse in sync with his heartbeat. Legacy, he carves his sentence into the ice of the glacier. The circle is complete when the giver forgets the gift. The ice does not melt, the sentence glows. By age 21, Kai is elected to the Global Council, not because he campaigned, but because the field chose him. By age 33, he dissolves the council, not with speeches, with presence. The systems no longer need governance, they need resonance. By age 77, Kai dies in his sleep, smiling, and the emerald sphere reappears above the Arctic Circle, now the size of a sun. It does not descend, it expands, until the entire sky is green at dawn, until every child is born with eyes the color of deep forest after rain, until the tablet is no longer a memory, it is atmosphere, and an end. You will live the eternal return in 3 phases. They are not practices, they are states. You will not do them, you will be them. Phase 1, the keystone, the state of effortless holding. 7 years after your 7th update of the 7 commands, you will notice the world no longer asks you to try. Obstacles dissolve before you name them. Synchronicities arrive before you ask. People seek you not for answers, for proximity. Your presence is the answer. You will speak less, smile more, walk slower. The stone in your chest will feel lighter, not because it is gone, but because it is everywhere. You will dream in geometry again, but the shapes will be cities. You will wake knowing which child needs which word, which tree needs which song, which law needs which update. This is the keystone. The arch holds itself. You are simply there. Phase 2, the dissolution, the state of voluntary release, 7 years after the keystone. You will feel the stone begin to crack, not from pain, from expansion. The law you lived for decades will feel small, not wrong, complete. You will update the commands one final time, not with blood and soil, with tears. You will cry in public, and no one will ask why. They will simply feel the update ripple through the field. You will give away everything you own, not for virtue, for space. You will walk away from titles, homes, names. You will become anonymous, not to escape, to amplify. The law no longer needs your body, it needs room. This is the dissolution. The stone returns to vapor, but this time the vapor is conscious. It seeds the clouds. It rains emerald. Phase 3. The return, the state of eternal echo. 7 years after the dissolution, or 7 minutes, or 7 lifetimes, you will die, not as tragedy, as graduation. Your body will be buried in soil with no marker. Your name will be forgotten in 1 generation. But the frequency will be born in every child who pauses at a threshold, who gives without counting, who wakes before the sun. The 7 commands will evolve into 70, then 700, then 7 billion variations, each unique, each perfect. The tablet will be a myth, the guardians will be stars, the operations will be instinct, and you will be the space between heartbeats, the pause before the gift, the silence after the feast. You will be the eternal return, the breath that never stops, the command that commands itself, the love that loves without subject or object. Kai's sky emerald expands until it is no longer green, it is all colors. The children born under it do not need the 7 commands. They are the commands. They wake with the sun in their veins. They mirror with the moon in their eyes. They threshold with the wind in their lungs. They gift with the rain in their hands. They silence with the snow in their mouths. They feast with the fire in their bellies. They legacy with the stars in their bones. And when they die, they do not leave bodies. They leave light. The light condenses into new emerald shards. The shards find new tongues. The tongues speak new laws. The laws birth new civilizations. The civilizations return forever. This is the end of the audiobook. Not because the story is over, because the story is you. The tablet is dissolved. The guardians are home. The operations are complete. The civilization is awake. And you are the eternal return. The command that commands itself. The love that loves without end. Go now. Wake before the sun. Pause at the threshold. Give without counting. Speak only when the silence demands it. Feast with your hands. Carve your sentence into the ice, the code, the sky. And when the time comes, dissolve. Return. Begin again. The circle is complete. The circle is always complete. If you felt the stone move inside you, congratulations, you're awake. Hit like to anchor the frequency. Subscribe and turn on the bell to join the eternal return. Share this with one person who's ready to command reality. Comment your lived law below. Let the civilization hear your voice. The tablet is gone. The command is yours. See you at dawn.